Hi, everybody. My name is Leah Swanberg. I am the founder of Egg Helpers and Canadian Fertility Consultants. Thank you for joining us today. For those of you who are watching this video in future, the information that Annalika and Cindy provide today is relevant on today's date of November 29th. And as we know, laws change, laws shift, and we want to make sure that you receive the most up-to-date information. And you would do that by contacting Annalika or Cindy personally post today's date. It is always my pleasure to meet and learn from people all over the world on how surrogacy and egg donation works for them as they come to Canada. And we're always excited to have an expert in the field joining us. And so, Annalika, if you could introduce yourself and tell us about the legal work that you do, that would be fantastic.
Well, hi everybody. I'm Annelieke Bouma. I'm a lawyer in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam. And I assist a lot of intended parents with who wants to have a child with surrogates in Canada or in the US. And I can give you the legal advice to get you the intended parents as the legal parents here also in the Netherlands.
Perfect. And Cindy, if you could introduce yourself, that would be great.
Thank you. So I'm the founder of Hope Springs Fertility Law, which is about the largest fertility law firm in Canada. Very busy. We are 4 lawyers, lots of admin staff. And we help donors, surrogates, and intended parents in Canada, as well as intended parents all over the world who are engaging in a surrogacy or donation process here in Canada. And we work with international lawyers like Annalika to make sure that our international clients seek and obtain proper advice before starting. So it's a great pleasure to be part of this to help those in the Netherlands.
Excellent, thank you. And so, as I mentioned, I own CFC and Egg Helpers, and we help people, and we have had amazing relationships with those in the Netherlands, building their families through egg donation and surrogacy, or egg donation or surrogacy. And we are always interested to learn more about the legal process. For us, when clients contact us, the first piece of advice, and we truly believe the most important piece of advice, is that they speak to a lawyer in their jurisdiction or in their community to ensure that they are proceeding safely and that all of the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. So the way that I will run this webinar, because it really is about the legal process, is to ask Annalika and Cindy some questions. And if you have questions, please drop them into the chat. We'd be happy to ask them as well. So Annalika, from your perspective, who in the Netherlands is able to participate in surrogacy abroad?
Sorry, the people. What do you mean? Which intended parents? Or
sure. So in some countries, heterosexual people can become parents through surrogacy in Canada, and in some countries, same-sex couples, single people. There really isn't a criteria. So I wasn't sure where you were.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay,
no problem.
Well, in the Netherlands, everybody can be an intended parent. So it's our heterosexual couples, same-sex couple. Couples, single parents, everybody can do the process for surrogates.
Excellent. And I had a question sent to us on Instagram, and it was from a couple in the Netherlands, and they wondered if they could proceed with a surrogate in Canada if they had to use an egg donor and a sperm donor. So if they had no genetic relationship to the child, if that was possible in the Netherlands.
Yes, it's difficult. It's
okay.
Difficult. Yeah, because in the Netherlands, it seems that I think it's very important that one of the two, if it's the same, if it's a couple, one of the two is genetic, also the parent. But it is possible
Okay.
But the thing what's very important in the Netherlands, that the egg donor and the sperm donor has to be known. So no anonymous egg or sperm donor.
Okay, so in Canada, when we look at anonymous or known, there are many degrees. So you could be anonymous and never have an open ID, or a donor may, as I said, just for those of you listening, we have an egg donor agency and we work with both known and anonymous donors. And this is a question we get all the time. And so we send our clients back to the lawyer to find out how they can proceed. But sometimes a donor will say, I'm willing to be known in the future, and we have their details. Is that enough of a known donation?
Yes, that's enough. It's for
Okay.
it is for a child. It's very important to know from whom they conceived. And in the Netherlands, when they are 16 years old, they has to have the possibility to know all the details from the donor, so the name, the address, and things like that.
Okay.
So maybe I think you called it an open egg donor or something.
Right. Yeah. Open ID donor. Yeah.
Yes. Well, that's okay in the Netherlands if the child could be know all the details when it's 16.
Wow. Okay. And does the court hang on to that information in the Netherlands, or do they rely on the agency in Canada to do
No,
that?
they want to see. They want really know if it's possible that the child will know in future who was the egg or sperm donor. So sometimes you get an ID profile without a name or just a number. I saw,
Okay.
and then I will also send that form to the court.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, they want to. The court wants proof that it's really an open donor.
Okay. And when it comes to surrogacy, does the court require the surrogate to be involved in the legal process or to sign anything in the Netherlands? Like, what would be the expectation of a surrogate working with a couple in the Netherlands?
Well, there has to be a donor of a surrogacy contract.
Okay.
They think it's very important that the surrogate has her own advisors or lawyers also in Canada. There need an affidavit or something in which the surrogate says, with the advice of a lawyer or another advisor, that she's willing to, how do you say that, to give the child to the intended parents, that she will not be the legal parent, that she don't want to have the custody or things like that. And also, I made also some that she will declare declarations after the birth of the child that she still agrees with the fact that the child will be with the intended parents.
Okay.
And she has to sign that one after birth.
Okay. So, Cindy, in terms of the process in Canada for intended parents from the Netherlands, how are we doing in Canada in terms of checking all of those boxes that seem like quite a few? How are we doing currently? And is there room for improvement here in terms of what we're doing and what Annalika is giving us in terms of the best practice?
You've pushed one of my buttons, Leah, because I am known to never be content. I think Canada is the best country in the world for everything. And our legal processes are amazing, but I always feel we could just do that much better if we try and look for things. So I've worked with Annalika on many, many files, and we have one right now, which is really interesting. Our clients had their baby about 2 years ago, and Annalika completed, it's the same-sex couple. The surrogate in Canada is married. Annalika completed the adoption by the non-biological father and sent me the adoption papers. And I thought my clients would have to go back to court here and have the judge declare that the surrogate is no longer the mother and that the other father now is. And before I started drafting, I contacted the registrar and I said, let's just try. Why should these people have be penalized with 2 court orders now simply because where they live and being 2 men? It doesn't seem right. The child's rights should be the same as every other child born in Canada. And the lawyers for the registrar's office here in Ontario got back to me and said, you don't need to go to court. We need this form filled out, and we need the Dutch adoption order, which is about 10 pages long, translated into English and certified as a true English copy. So then Annalika and the clients told me that that was horrendously expensive. So I went back to the government and I said, that's crazy expensive. And they said, okay, how about we do an affidavit from Annalika saying this is what it says? And super inexpensive and super progressive. And so once again, I'm super proud of my country and my province. So we are accommodating, absolutely accommodating with respect to the donor issues. As long as the agency confirms with me that they've got that information and they can provide it to the intended parents and or their lawyer in the future, what happens with it in the Netherlands is fine. I expect that the donor's lawyer has told her that that's going to be shared, and the court will have that, and there shouldn't be any issue because, of course, she should consent to that. And we are moving forward. We've got a lot of Dutch clients, and it's very easy in Canada for them. We recognize everything.
So that brings up a question when you said, Cindy, that the non-biological parent would have to adopt, which is very different than in Canada. Annalika, I'm really hoping someone's challenging or ready to change that. I mean, I'm going to give you a chance to tell us it's in the works, I hope. So what's up with that? That seems very old-fashioned to us Canadians who 2 dads, 2 moms, 2 dads and 2 moms, you know, it's very open here.
Yeah, well, in the Netherlands, unfortunately, there is no law on surrogacy, still not, and probably it will take, well, a few more years. There is a proposal for a new law, but it's still a proposal. So we use the law for a situation for which the law isn't written. So that's, and the adoption, I can imagine that it feels strange and old-fashioned and everything, but that's the only way we can get the intended parents, also the legal parents. But in the Netherlands, it seems to be there's a change in the case law. The courts are more willing to cooperate, and also the officers of the civil registry, seems to being helpful. And the most important thing is then if the court thinks that there is a careful process in Canada, and the surrogate has had her own lawyer, and there are no unknown donors, then it seems that the court will order to the officer of the civil registry to register the Canadian birth certificate here in the Netherlands. So then we don't need the adoption anymore.
Okay.
So, but I still don't have the decision of the court, but I had a court session and I think this will be the verdict. So hopefully, fingers crossed. And yes, and I think I will know in March or something for sure if this will be the practice. But I'm sure also that it will be the practice then for Canada and some states in the US, but not for all the countries. So the court know that in Canada and it is a careful process. So then they are willing to do that. But from all other countries, it's not sure.
Okay.
So can I get in here and just say that it's really important for intended parents in the Netherlands to speak not only with local lawyer like Annalika, but also here to make sure the lawyer you choose in Canada is in touch with Annalika and gets the updated information, because we may need to draft a contract with the surrogate with specific language that the judge in the Netherlands will read and say it meets the standard of our values to accept it. And again, when we do the court order declaration of parentage here, specific language may be required in the affidavits and in the draft order to meet the standards. Very important.
Yeah, that's also the reason that I will always check the contracts and everything you made.
Mm-hmm.
Because now in the Netherlands it seems that it's a lot changing in a very quick. So it could be different every month, but it seems that it only get better.
That's so great. And the Canadian lawyer, a lot of clients say to me, why do I need to hire the local lawyer now? Why not just when the baby comes? And they have to understand, as much as I will stay in touch with Annalika and lawyers in every country, we do not have jurisdiction or authority to practice law. So we cannot give legal advice that you can rely upon in another country. And we just can't. We are not insured to do that, and we lose our license. So Annalika and others will be very thoughtful and try to remember to tell all the lawyers around the world what's going on, but they also can't be responsible to make sure they've told everybody every other day that it changes. So every client should get that advice, and every lawyer should reach out to the local lawyer on each file and say, anything new, here's the draft, let me know.
Absolutely. And in 17 years and many clients from the Netherlands, there's always been one question, and it has often it's sometimes, I don't want to say often, but there have been times where we have made matches that we believed were brilliant and the people loved one another, and as the match was happening, the surrogate got married, or the surrogate got divorced, or the surrogate was separated. And the match, unfortunately, the intended parents believed the match had to end because the surrogate got married. And so my curiosity has always been, what is this, the intended parents being nervous about the surrogate's relationship status, or is this actually something in Dutch law? So Annalika, I'm wondering if you can talk about married, divorced, separated, single, who can be a surrogate in Canada for a Dutch person?
Okay, well, all women can be a surrogate. It's only that it will maybe make us to do another process here in the Netherlands. If she was married and she will be separated, then we can do another route here in the Netherlands. So if the surrogate is not married, then we can do that. The one of the intended parents in the Netherlands can acknowledge the unborn child. It's in the Netherlands, it's possible. I know Canada it isn't, but in the Netherlands we can. So one of the intended parents can go to the civil registry to acknowledge the child. The only thing he or she needs is an affidavit from the surrogate in which she allows him or her to acknowledge the child. And that affidavit has to be a notarial deed. And it has to be have an apostille. And then if the child is born, then the one who has acknowledged the child is already the legal parent. So that's easy.
Okay.
Well, if the surrogate is married, then it's not possible, because in the Netherlands, the law say that the mother of the child is the surrogate because she gave birth. And if the surrogate is married, her husband, it's very old fashioned, I know, but her husband will be the legal father. So the child has then two parents. And in the Netherlands, A child can only have two parents, not more.
Okay.
So in that case, we have to do right now. We still have to do the adoption, or we have no. We do the adoption. Well, we will have a court order, a Canadian court order, in which they say the husband of the surrogate is not a legal father. So, but the other one of the intended parents in the Netherlands is the father or the mother. And then we can go to the Netherlands and do the adoption by the other.
Okay.
So, well, the procedures are a little bit different if the surrogate is married or the surrogate is not married.
Okay.
So can I just say
we can arrange everything here?
Okay, so single, yes. Married, yes. Divorced?
Yeah.
Separated?
Yeah, that's we in the Netherlands we have divorced, or if you're separate but still married, then in the Netherlands we see that as a married couple.
Okay, because in Canada you have to be separated for 2 years before the court will grant a divorce.
Yeah,
so
that's
there's
different.
always that 2-year period of.
We don't have that.
Yeah.
We don't have that.
Okay.
So you are married or not? That's,
okay.
that's easy, but yeah. So, but it's okay. It's the procedures are different, but we can arrange that the intended parents will be the legal parents.
Okay. And is there any
approximately 1 year? 1 year around that.
And that's what we just did with these clients. I got the court order saying the surrogate is the mother with the biological intended father from the Netherlands. And the judge declared that the surrogate's husband is not a father and acknowledged that the non-biological intended father would be doing an adoption in the Netherlands and then would come back and ask for a parentage application once that was done in Canada, which is where we're at now.
Yeah.
So I have
something that's important also. There is no difference between a father who is the father, the biological father who's the legal father, and the father who has adopted as the legal father. They are both the same legal fathers. Mm-hmm. So no difference in rights or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, good point.
And I have another question here from a surrogate or a potential surrogate. Is there any risk that during that period of time where the dads aren't the dads, both dads aren't the dads yet, that the court would say, no, the mother is the mother, and the surrogate would need to assume some type of rights with this child?
No, I never seen that.
Okay.
No, but she is the mother, but everyone, the court and everyone wants to be the intended parents and the legal parents. But because there's no law, it's a little bit difficult to arrange everything, but at the end, it will be arranged.
Okay, perfect. I have another question, Cindy. I think this one will be for you. Actually, might for both of you. The intended parents are asking, they're looking for a surrogate, and they're wondering if one province in Canada, or if there are better provinces in Canada for clients from the Netherlands to pursue surrogacy, and if Quebec is an option for them.
So every province and territory in Canada can make its own rules with respect to how one registers a birth. They have that authorization. So it's very important to speak with a lawyer in Canada who is up to date with the changes in each province and territory. Having said that, the biggest issue I find in my experience for international clients is how long are you stuck in Canada before you can go home? So and that's legitimate. You're not working, you're away from family, the grandparents are uncontrollable, too excited to get you home, and you want to get home and get on with your life. So in that respect, I again will brag that Ontario is the best place for that, because we get you out the fastest, and Hope Springs gets everyone out the fastest. But court orders are available everywhere for both parents, and most places able to change it later. So that's the trick. Quebec's problem is currently the law states that the only people who can register the birth will be the surrogate alone, the biological father alone, or the surrogate and the biological father. So we've just said that seems to work. So the surrogate and the father from the Netherlands can get registered, but they can't get a court order. Nor will there be an opportunity later to change that and put the other father on once the process is complete in the Netherlands. And so that's where Quebec can be a problem for intended parents who won't be happy with that situation. They can do it, but they can't both be recognized. British Columbia has a slightly different twist in that the current legislation under their registration laws says that whoever is on a surrogacy agreement, whoever is named as a party, must register the birth accordingly. However, so that means if both parents are on the agreement with the surrogate, they both have to register, and that becomes a problem in the Netherlands. However, British Columbia has the opportunity to go to court and seek the judge's approval not to do that. And I understand that people can do that. Then the question becomes, so it's not as straightforward as in other provinces where that's not going to be a problem. But I've never heard of a situation where the judge in British Columbia has said, I won't help in this situation. But then later again, the problem becomes, how do you change the registration after the process in the Netherlands is finished? And so I now know here in Ontario, there's a very simple process, which will be fine. You don't need another court order in the Netherlands, because now both parents are recognized, so they don't need that. And so you want to find out how involved the change will be. If there wasn't an administrative process to begin with, do you have to spend the money on a full court order, or will they do an adoption change administratively in that province as we're doing it here?
Perfect. That was a lot. So if you have further questions on that point, please contact Cindy or Annalika. Cindy and Annalika, in the comment section on the right, we have a couple of questions. I think, Annalika, both of them really are for you. If you wanted to answer them, you could read them and answer them, or I could read them and you could answer them.
I don't see any comments.
When you see private chat, if you click to this right of that where it says comments.
I don't have private chat. Do you?
Okay, I see one.
Okay, perfect.
The question is, when having a married surrogate and you need to go to the adoption route, are there any age limitations coming into play in the Netherlands? No, there are no age limitations.
Okay, is that age limitations for the surrogate or age limitations for the parents, do you think?
I think they mean that it's from the intended parents.
Okay.
Because for the adoption of an international child, so for which situation the law is written, there is an age limitation. I think it's 40 or 42, something like that. But we don't have that in the Netherlands for this surrogacy process.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that that was an issue for a traditional sort of adoption. So, but that doesn't apply for surrogacy.
No.
Okay. Can you answer the other question too? Do you see that one from Mr. Gerhard?
Well, I did already answer that question, I think. Okay. When the surrogate is divorced, but she provided a room for a friend right now, then it's not her husband. So then she will be a single for the Netherlands.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Oh, yes, okay. He just said yes, that it was the intended parent, so that's perfect.
Yeah.
In terms of Dutch law and surrogacy, I had a question. Someone was asking if DNA testing was required to ensure that there was a genetic link.
Yeah, the court wants to see a DNA because they think what I told already. I think it's important that one of the two intended parents is the biological parent.
Okay.
So, and they are asking now because, well, that's that change. What seems to be there in the Netherlands, that if there's that they want to order to the officer of the civil registry to register the Canadian birth certificate, then they will be sure that they're one of the intended parents is the biological, and that's why they ask also for a DNA.
Okay, excellent. And my question this time is, with our egg donor program, we require our intended parents to have an egg donor agreement, specifically with the egg donor. As well, the fertility clinic requires the donor to sign a consent form to ensure that she understands the process she's undertaking. But we do know that sometimes fertility clinics say to the clients, you don't need a legal agreement. The consent forms at our clinic are good enough. And, who am I to say? I just run an agency. I'm not a lawyer. But I'm curious if, for the court process post-birth, if the egg donor agreement or the surrogacy agreement are presented as evidence or to show that they have engaged appropriately in terms of an altruistic arrangement, etc.
Yeah, it is. It's very
Okay.
important. So I always, when the agreements are made, I always send them to the court.
Okay.
And be also as transparent about the whole process.
Okay.
So that the court also can see, okay, they did a good job together, and they did know what they were doing and everything. Yeah.
May I ask, Annalika, what do you do that's different if neither of the parents is genetically related?
I think I would go for the adoption. I think I will go for the adoption route.
Okay. And a follow-up question to that would be, as the intended parents, we have intended parents often ask us, should we have our contract drafted in the language where we live or in English in Canada? And, we always suggest speaking to the lawyers, but curiosity is, does it matter if people have an English contract, or is it required that they have it translated into Dutch?
No, the English contract is okay.
Okay.
We don't need the translation in Dutch.
Okay, perfect.
Every judge can read English also.
Okay, perfect. I have another question from intended parents who are in the Netherlands, and they're working with a U.S. clinic, and they have paid an egg donor. Through that clinic, it's anonymous. They are going to have a Canadian surrogate, and they wonder if they have made a mistake with paying a donor and her being anonymous and in the United States.
Well, the United States is not a problem. The anonymous egg donor is a problem.
Okay.
Is a problem. Yeah, it is a problem. But then the court will not. Then we won't get the Canadian birth certificate registered here in the Netherlands. So then we have to do the route with the adoption.
Okay. So is that more expensive? Is that like more expensive, more time consuming?
More time consuming.
Okay. So it just takes longer.
And because of that, also more expensive.
But also, Annalika, even though it's an anonymous donor, if they go to the agency and say, you have all the donor's information, and the agency can work with you to provide.
Yeah, I thought an anonymous donor that nobody knows the name and that it's not registered. I don't know. It's
through an agency.
yeah, if it's possible for the child when it's 16 to get the name and everything, then it's no problem. But if
so
not,
Leah, did they go through an agency in the U.S. is the question.
Right. Okay.
And the agency would have the information, so once again, we'd help them get that together. But I don't know that too many people find a donor completely anonymously and somehow magically make this happen.
Well, they absolutely do in the Ukraine and in Georgia and Cyprus and in various destinations. We see very often that people, in Spain, they began to engage somewhere. And, we've seen that a lot with Ukraine where there's accommodations being made because people had begun there and are now unable to proceed. We know that the donor is, where is she now with, the situation there. And so, we want to ensure that we're, sending people to the right places. So back to their lawyers and, to get the best information.
And then we will do the route of the adoption.
Okay.
And I think there's a difference between, working somewhere with an agency that you can trust has that information versus the agency where, they say, here's the information, but nobody has any ability to vouch for the reliability of it. I could see where that may be a problem, but that may be the best there is.
Okay.
But, somebody should know who she is.
Right.
A clinic, someone.
Absolutely. And so I have another question, and this is one that even for myself, I'm confused about often. Sorry, I'm just writing a note. So I'll just be one sec. I'm working in a clinic today, so I'm kind of doing two little things.
You're busy.
The animals have that. Oh, good, they're for you guys. Okay, sorry. It's been a very busy day in this clinic, and so I ordered the donuts.
Very important person.
I ordered the donut, some donuts and treats for the nurses. So I was putting it on a piece of paper to point it to the nurse so she could collect it.
If you had told me that, I would have come down.
I know. So the question is this, and to be honest, I'm very confused about it, and I never answer it because I'm always confused. Intended parents let us know that their baby is covered by their healthcare in the Netherlands if the surrogate is single, is married, is something. I don't know what it is, but there's always this thing. Because for us as an agency, and really wanting to be as respectful of our Canadian healthcare as possible, the baby will not, and this is intended parents for you guys, your baby will not be covered by our healthcare because they won't meet the residency requirement of 90 days. And so our goal is to ensure that there are no surprises. And so we suggest to all intended parents that they purchase additional insurance for their baby. And we understand in the Netherlands that that may not be a thing because your insurance may cover. So Annalika, do you know about that?
It's okay. It depends also on the health insurance, but I always advise my clients to contact their health insurance and explain the story and everything, and then we know. Okay. But there are also health insurances for I don't know the word in English. For people. Sometimes people, because of war or whatever, come to the Netherlands and they fight. How do you say that? When they are not Dutch, they are coming here because there's a war.
Immigrants or like
refugees.
Yeah, okay. And then we can do the health insurance also for that.
Okay.
So, but I always advise to contact the health insurance, and sometimes I will do it.
Okay.
And to look for how can we get the health insurance for the child.
Okay. Perfect. And we have a lot of solutions as well, Annalika, for our clients. We work with Art Risk. They have many products available for clients from all over the world. And our goal, again, is just that intended parents don't have any surprises.
No, but most of the times the health insurance of the intended parents are willing to have the child also.
Okay, perfect. I have another question, Annalika. I don't know if you can answer this as a lawyer, but they are a heterosexual couple, and they are asking if they could create their embryos in the Netherlands with the sister as an egg donor, and then send their embryos to Canada to be implanted in a surrogate. If there's fertility clinics in the Netherlands that are surrogate friendly or understanding about surrogacy.
I don't see a problem for that, but
Okay.
I don't know. Probably there are some clinics here in the Netherlands. This is then for the intended parents. It's Nijgeertgen. It's in Brabant.
Okay.
Sorry, I do it in Dutch because the names are in Dutch.
Maybe you could add it in the comments.
I can. How do I do that?
You can click on comments and type, and then we'll get it out.
Yeah, we will add that. We can add that later as well, for sure.
Okay, they can ask there if they can help. There are 3, so one in Leiderdorp, Nijgeertgen, and the VU in Amsterdam.
Okay, and does surrogate? I mean, I guess the follow-up question to that is: do people need to come to Canada? Can they do surrogacy in the Netherlands yet?
Yeah, but it's forbidden to bring in the open that you are looking for a surrogate or that you want to be a surrogate. So what we see in the Netherlands is that the most of the surrogates are friends or family. Okay. And then it's all possible, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a great lead into my next question. We, as an agency, we often suggest that people post on social media about their journeys or about looking for a surrogate. And these clients that are the people that ask the question, and we get people all the time saying, well, I can't post on my personal social media. I can't be on social media. That's illegal. And we always wonder, because that's such a great networking tool. It's such a great way to find, the world is a small place, and we find many people find their surrogates that way. And is it possible?
It's not allowed in the Netherlands.
Really?
Yeah. And I really don't know why.
But if the posting is done here, so if the agency posts on their behalf.
Well, but we often suggest to intended parents to share. And if
they can.
And really, like on Facebook or Instagram or
no, I know, but I can't visit them also. But I know there are some pages on Facebook which are a little bit closed, or I don't know how you call that. But, so I know that there are, but it's, you have to be very careful. It's not allowed. Yeah.
And why is it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you know what the law, like, is it a law or just an understanding?
No, I think they are afraid here in the Netherlands that there will be that there will some buying of a child, or I don't know, something like that.
Okay. And my last question that I have from someone is, does surrogacy in Canada fall under the Hague Convention for intended parents in the Netherlands? Because it is adopting. And I don't know.
No, it's not a form of adoption. It's a partner adoption. In the Netherlands, the adoption we do with the surrogate for the surrogacy, it's a partner adoption. So it's not the international adoption from a child from China or whatever.
Okay.
Partner adoption.
Okay.
So here in Canada, we would call it a consent adoption. And it's important to note in Canada as well that although we're part of a lot of the Hague Convention, not all aspects, but we consider adoption to be very different from surrogacy.
Okay.
Excellent. Yeah, but it's the adoption procedure in the Netherlands is that you adopt kind of the child of your partner.
Okay. Excellent. Well,
More or
thank
less.
you. Okay. Well, thank you both. Those are all my questions. If there's anything I missed, please let me know. I would love to give you the floor for a couple of minutes to mention anything I may have missed.
Oh, just, contact us, please. We'd love to be able to help you achieve your dream. It's such a great passion of ours. And I love working with Annalika, so you're in great hands with her too. And of course, the CFC.
Absolutely. And if you are intended parents and you're curious about surrogacy or egg donation in Canada, and you'd be interested in connecting with an amazing community of intended parents in the Netherlands who have or are pursuing this journey, please reach out. We would love to offer you not only our support, but the mentorship and support of other intended parents who have completed or started their families through this process. So thank you, everyone. Those of you who are watching this recorded and didn't get a chance to ask your questions, please feel free to email us, as our details are in the email in which you received this video. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.